So I think I may have found another contender for being one of the best value automatic watches that you can buy. Let's check it out. Hello, you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I am talking about watches. Yes, I think I've found an amazing watch at a very low price that may be a contender for one of the best budget automatic watches that I've ever come across before. And it's from Citizen, which I'm really excited about because I've never actually owned a watch from Citizen before. I've wanted to own a watch from Citizen. I've been looking at Citizen for ages, but I just can't seem to find one that I really seem to sort of connect with, a watch that I really want to buy. Well, that was until now. That was until I came across these Citizen NJ0100. Now, there's a few options available if you like these watches. You can get them a leather strap or a bracelet. You can get a black, blue, green, and silver dial. But what really stood out to me was this black dial. I like the bracelet, but I was also thinking about the leather, but I was then trying to find it at the right price. Because if you like this watch, if you watch this first impressions video and you think, yeah, I want one of those, well, I want you to be careful, because there's a lot of people selling this watch for much more than you should pay. The full RRP of this one is 399 Australian dollars, but there are people charging more than that. There's people charging a little bit less than that. But I have to say, as much as I love this watch, as much as I think it might be one of the best budget watches out there, it's not a $399 watch. It is, however, a $200 watch, and that's how much I paid for it. I bought it brand new from a website within Australia, and I just waited for it to come up on special. This watch does come up on special quite often from different sites around the world. You just got to keep your eye on it. So when you do see it, and if you do like it, and you want to buy it, just wait to see when it goes onto special, and that is the time to buy this one. So in a first impressions style video, let's flip the camera around and let's check out my first Citizen watch. So the package definitely sort of reflects the affordability of this one. This is my new Citizen NJ0100-89E. As I mentioned in the intro, there are a few other variations of it, but I got the black dial with the bracelet. It does come on this sort of very simple sort of holder there, little hang tag. You'll see the caliber there is the 8210, which is part of why it's also affordable, because it's got the Miyota 8 series movement there. And I am really excited to have my first Citizen watch. I've wanted one for so long, but I really wanted to find the right one. And I already know that this is the right one, because as soon as I opened the box, there were 3 things that stood out to me. 2 of them fantastic things, 1 probably not the perfect thing. And let's start with the non-perfect thing, because otherwise you're going to notice it as I'm talking anyway. Let's grab the watch, and now I'm not shaking side to side, yeah, that's a lot of squeaking, isn't it? And you actually hear that squeaking when you're just wearing the watch. Not every time you move your wrist, but quite often you do hear a... And that's because the strap or the bracelet here, although it looks amazing, and I think it actually does look really good, all brushed and a little bit polished on the side, they're not probably the best quality, because it is actually a folded bracelet. It's not a solid bracelet this time, and obviously the tolerances in between those links are causing that to squeak. And that's perfectly fine. I've no issues really with that. It is an affordable watch. Being 200 Australian dollars, I sort of have some expectations of these type of things. The second thing that stood out to me, however, and realistically is probably the first thing, but it's the second thing I'm going to talk about, is that dial. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. Yes, it's a fairly simple dial, black and white, but check out those hands that are partially skeletonized. Check out that nice long white second hand. I think it looks great, and black and white as a contrast looks really good. It just seems to fit together, and I really like it. Citizen printed on, automatic printed on, that Rehort chapter ring there with the 60, 10, 20, etc. around the outside. I think it looks great. And then it continues on to the third thing I want to talk about, and that is the case. I'm really impressed by it. I'm impressed by the shape as well. I really like the shape of it. Good brushing, a bit of polishing on the sides, a little bit of polishing here, a little bit of brushing. So we've got that sort of contrast in surfaces. And I think it's a cool case shape. With these squared off end links is also going to make this a great watch to throw on a leather strap. And you can buy this one on the leather strap, and I was even looking for the one on the leather strap, but this is the one with the black dial that came up the best price for me. So I'm going to get one of my other straps to try this one out on. Looking a little bit further on it, we've got a non-screw down, non-signed crown, but it is manually winding. Being that Miyota 8 series, it does mean that it is manually winding, which is great. It does, however, mean that there is no hacking. And that is probably a little bit disappointing. It doesn't bother me too much. It doesn't stop me loving this watch. But being this sort of a pilot style, I guess, it's a bit of a sort of more of a fieldy pilot style. It's weird that it doesn't have hacking. I am very happy though that it does have hand winding. And as you'd expect with a rather simple bracelet that it's been folded, it has a rather simple clasp, which is pressed steel there. So not particularly great, but actually probably one of the best pressed clasps I've seen. That feels a lot more solid than some others. Has 3 levels of micro adjust. The links are actually relatively small, so there's a good chance you should be able to get a good fit with this one. Case back is fairly simple, got some information there, all you really need. Now, the other issue that is with these 8 series Miyota movements is quite often you can hear the movement and feel the movement. And if you really shake it, you can sort of feel it. But I think because this case is quite solid and it has a solid case back, I can't hear it, and I certainly can't feel that sort of rotor wobble on wrist. So that issue with this Miyota series sort of a movement is not a problem with this particular watch. But let's check it out on wrist. Yes, there is that squeak on wrist as well, but I actually think it looks awesome on wrist. It's got a really good set of dimensions. I'll go into all that stuff when I do the full review of this one. Sits down lovely on wrist as well. My wrist is 6 3/4 or about 17 centimeters for your reference. And it just fits well. I think this one is going to fit most sizes of wrists. And it's such a good looking watch. I can't believe it is such a great looking watch for this sort of price. I'm really impressed by it. But as I mentioned in that intro, if you like this watch, please be careful how much you pay for it, because it is a wonderful watch for 200 Australian dollars, but it wouldn't be a wonderful watch for 400 Australian dollars. So just keep your eyes out for it. The other colorways, the silver and the green and the blue, are quite often a little bit cheaper. But I think the black and the white really set this watch off, and it's certainly the one that I wanted. I did consider the other ones, but this is the one I wanted, so I just was sat patiently until I found it at the right price. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I certainly intend to be wearing this watch a lot. I can already see that this one's going to be in my collection longer term. And do stick around for the full in-depth review of this one, and check out my other videos while you're there. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.